one cool thing that you can do with the records of the body and the records of the soul is that if you are missing a particular skill, you can get any skill you want, right? So if you wanted to feel more confident, for example, you can receive a Akashic download. You can download from the records of your soul to the records of your body, the confidence. And then you can embody that energy and experience different results in your life now.
Hi, I'm Swara, and welcome to the Akashic Records Unlocked Summit, where you can heal your past, realize who you are meant to be, and live an extraordinary life. I'm so excited today to introduce to you a very special speaker. Today we have Patricia Missakian. She's an Akashic Records teacher, founder of the Akashic Records Institute, author, intuitive, and entrepreneur. Hi, Patricia. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're so welcome, and thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely wonderful. And Patricia, wow, you are doing so much. And I just want to ask you right now, can you please tell us, what was your journey to finding the Akashic Records?
Wow, I would say it was a long, wide, windy road. It actually, it was a little bit over 24 years ago. At the time, I moved from Brazil to the United States. And what I realized, like after I was, so I moved here, like nobody in my family, by myself. And then I got to get to know like, oh, who you are. Myself, right? So what I realized was that I've lived my whole life with a victim mentality. And by being away from everything, I got to realize that that was taking me like down road, like the worst place you can ever be. And so it was through these dark nights of my soul when I went through a very dark time by living by myself in another country. And so I remember that one day I was driving to work and I had to stop my car, and like the world went down. And in that moment, in the moment of despair, I would say, right, I heard a voice, and the voice said something the lines of, it is time to stop looking for answers outside of myself and look within. And it's kind of like that was the beginning of everything for me. At the time, I was working for a company doing graphic design, like nothing to do with what I do now. And in a marriage, I was in my first marriage. The marriage was failing. Everything was literally falling apart. And so what happened is that after I listened to that, which it was never something that I looked for, I never wanted to develop my intuition or any of that, things start opening up. Like I saw a yoga class, and then I went to like an intuition training. And so all these things, I start opening for all this beautiful world that we live in, and things start, synchronicity starts happening. And I made a huge change in my life. I let it go of the business. I went through a whole healing training. And so that's where I came into this world. I went through the healing modality. And I got into a specialty, which is called in healing craniosacral therapy, which works with the intelligence of the body. And as I was doing this process, and I was working with clients, like I would tap into memories, like unconsciously tap into the memories, not their Akashic records, but their memories. There were memories that they had, like big, life hold-ons for them. So memories that they lived that they could not deal with it. And so those memories were in their autumn. So as I start talking about those memories in this healing modality, they start shifting and healing, and things start changing for them. So that's when I start looking into memories, and I went into this path of the Akashic Records. And I start, deepening, studying. And at that time I was doing, into healing and into developing intuition. And that's how things start opening up. And what I learned is that there are records of the body, there are records of the soul. And so I start first working on my own records and understanding, and through that path, I was able to see the moments where I made choices that held me back. And the biggest gift in all of that was that I learned to heal a relationship with my mother. And that moment was the first time that I could allow myself to feel compassion to my mother throughout the whole experience that we had. And the moment of healing and shift that I felt, it was the moment that I heard once again, this is what I'm here to do. It's almost like I dedicated my life since then, over 20 years ago, to share and to bring this wisdom to help others to also, because I would go my whole life with that anger, with the sadness, with, holding all those emotions. And then unfortunately, a lot of people do that. They just come, they experience that, they don't do anything about it, and they go back and they have to come back. Right? Yeah. So the moment of finding that compassion, it changed everything for me. And I made a choice. I'm dedicating my life to share this, to support others, and to give this gift.
And that's beautiful. Thank you so much for your story. I think that so much of our audience could relate. I know that I can relate to that idea of having that dark night of the soul, to be in a place where, it is painful, where it is, you're really looking for something beyond this moment. Like, there's got to be something here that will help me. And it causes so many of us to become seekers, to look for something else. And you found, your help through cranial sacral, through so many other modalities, and then to come to the Akashic Records. It was almost as if all of those things were leading up to the Akashic Records. Yeah. And the Akashic Records helping you to have that moment was so pivotal. So thank you for sharing that story. That's amazing. I think there's so much there that our audience can relate to. So when you discovered the Akashic Records and you heard that voice inside of you, the Akashic Records probably saying to you, this is what you have to do. How did you respond to that?
So I went through steps, right? So at that time I had a practice, was an in-person practice. And I started listening. I started to do, I started to implement the work with the Akashic Records in those healing sessions. So, I started me as a practitioner. And that developed into bringing together both worlds, the healing world and the marketing and the branding, and which was the skill that I actually, went to school for. So what that developed into me doing the service, like it was a completely healing, but also with a business, a business energy where I will support my clients into connect to the soul of their business, that I used to call like the soul branding. And so I started working, in coaching and developing brands where whatever, that energy of your soul, just it's expressed in whatever it is that you do, your logo. And so people see pieces of that, they get to see you and what, your mission and what you are about. So for many years, I've done that. And those clients were like, I wanted to learn to do what you do. And I'll be like, oh, I just show up and I do the thing. I don't know how to teach that thing, right? I just, So, and so like the request kept coming in, and I'm like, no, who am I to teach anyone, right? And what happened is I got 2 clients that were like literally not my soulmate clients. And here I was, teaching you how to connect with your soulmate clients. And then I accepted those clients that were completely out of brand, out of alignment. And of course, everything that could go wrong went wrong in that relationship, which was like, they just want a website. And what happened is that they end up not paying for their services. And we became in this weird situation, which today was the biggest blessing that I could ever receive. It was literally my higher self with a stick on my head, like, there, you don't want to teach? There, take these clients. And so, at the end of the story, they owed, I think at the time it was like $1,600. And I remember that I went, that was the second most important work that I did with my Akashic Records, where I went to my Akashic Records and I'm like, what I'm going to do, right? And the message that I got was, let it go. Just give this money to them. I actually, this is actually a great exercise. Anyone that may find yourself in the similar situation. I wrote a check for $1,600. I put the name, like a fake check, right? I got one of my checks, but I never delivered to them. But I wrote, that money, and I wrote lesson to own my value. Because the reason that, for the time being, it was a struggle for me, that relationship. It was that unconsciously, I thought that by these people paying the money, or that they agreed to pay, by they actually doing the action, I would be honoring my value. That was my, our messed up belief that we create, right? And by writing that check and say, I own my value, you don't want to pay, it's, if you choose to not have the integrity, it's on you, but I own my value, I own my work, and I did the best I could. So I created, by doing that, I clear a agreement of value. So basically that's literally what I did. I gave, I stopped connecting with them. I said, I don't want anymore, keep it. I know it's going to come back 10 times X for myself. And I kind of played, going to come back 10X from other energies. And I closed the business. I just did not, it was such an emotional time that I just did not want to do brand for anybody else. I just closed the business, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I just knew I didn't want to do that. And then what I did is every night I work with my own Akashic Records. So I'll go to I did a lot of inner child healing. I did a lot of journeys and working with creativity, because creativity, art is a big part of my life. And I fulfilled that by doing that design piece together with the healing work. But there was something more that I was meant to. And so by me going through this experience, it's almost like after a month of every night journaling and working with my records, it's almost like the whole program that people were asking for show up, which is, it's one of, now we have over 6 advanced trainings in Akashic, but that was the very first one that came out through that experience. And it was, at the time it was called Level 1. Today it evolved to a program called Akashic Awakening. But what that did, I created the program. I invited those that were already, connected with me. And literally, I remember I did a webinar for the program, and the program closed with literally $16,000. So it was the 10X that came from, it was like the confirmation of letting that go. And so it was a very interesting story. So that's kind of like what happens. And since then, I have not done design for anyone. only for myself because I love it. But it evolved into one of the most complex, in-depth training where you not only work with the Akashic Records, but you learn how to, help your clients with prosperity, business, relationships. So everything starts just unfolding and synchronicity kicks in and everything opens. So that's kind of like how it happened.
Yeah. Wow, that's just an amazing story. I love that so much. You've talked about so many things about the Akashic Records that can be so powerful for this audience. Having the faith to know that you are being supported by your Akashic Records guides, to have those things happen the way that they did, the fact that you were so open to receiving the feedback, to respond to it in a way, and then continuing to work so in depth with your Akashic Records every day to create something new is amazing. And I don't know if people know that we can use our Akashic Records that way. We can use our Akashic Records in very practical ways to create a program, to download information for what's next after that, what's the specific thing that I need to create. That's powerful. What an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah. So you mentioned a couple things, that you used your Akashic Records also to access the soul of your business. You mentioned that the soul, like your body has its own Akashic Records, your soul has its own Akashic Records. These are all different things. How does that work? Can you tell us more about that?
Yes. So, and that is actually like the first thing that I came that I received was the records of the body, and you don't hear that anywhere else. So it's kind of like, it's the way that I explain is, you come to this lifetime, your higher self drop in the basic information that you need to survive, to deal with the things that you came here to do. Right. So that information goes into your main chakras, let's say, right? So as you go into, so this is memories, this information comes in form of memories, but memories that, support you as you develop and grow and find find yourself, find, the things that are here for you to do. Mm-hmm. And so as you continue growing, you're going to add for that information. You're going to add, and in the main chakras, right? So you learn something about communication, as you grow, and it was not okay to communicate in the particular way, you're going to bring that trigger of, the memory will come in your throat chakra, for example. And then what happens is, as you grow and you evolve and you're receiving new experiences, the records of your body is located behind your neck, at the end of your spine, in the area of the craniosacral therapy that the craniosacral therapist would hold. So that's how I connect to the records of the body. So the information comes into your chakras, and there, it's directed to the records behind your neck. And at the same time, a Xerox goes to the records of your soul, which is located the fifth, without going on and on and on here, going to the fifth dimension. So you tap into part of your consciousness, goes and connects to the records of your soul. So when you are, and that is the thing that I tap into first, not knowing, and I don't say it's not, you cannot really access the records of someone without their permission. And that's not what I was accessing. These are literally images, like images that have something that it's blocking you, so they stay around your aura. And so I learned to clear those and restore in the records of the body. So when a person have not deal with a particular situation, or it's holding the beliefs or emotions, very strong emotions through it, it's almost like it creates that memory keeps attracting situations not so much fun, so you deal with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So but that is the difference. So basically, I don't really do readings of the records of the body. I do healing with the records of the body. So because you have that access directed to it through healing. But whenever you go to a reading, you can go to the records of the soul, and then you can have access to information from this lifetime and past lifetimes. But that is basically the difference. And but one cool thing that you can do with the records of the body and the records of the soul is that if you are missing a particular skill, you can get any skill you want, right? So if you wanted to feel more confident, for example, and maybe in this lifetime you didn't have the opportunity to anchor that confidence, you can receive a Akashic download. You can download from the records of your soul to the records of your body the confidence, and then you can embody that energy and experience different results in your life now. So that's kind of like the cool thing about records of body. So in a few seconds, did I help explaining?
Very much so. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. You actually really cleared up something for me, because as I'm meditating, I definitely feel this energy that happened in the back of my neck. And I don't really know what it is. I just call in light into my body and I just send light to this area. But to have that explanation, to me personally, like, wow, that's so powerful. It just gives me so much clarity on what's going on. And as you're explaining this idea of accessing your Akashic records and bringing in talents and skills into this space, the Akashic records of our body, it kind of reminds me of being sort of like a crystal, like we're a human crystal. We're a human crystal that we're holding things within this crystal. You know how crystals can be programmed? We might have some old programming that's present in our crystal, and that we can actually bring in new programming from the Akashic records at a very high level. And so that's sort of the image that came up for me. And I think that's so fascinating. I've never actually heard of this type of thing before. And so thank you so much for bringing that into this space. That's incredibly powerful. And so as you're working with people in this kind of way with their Akashic records of their body and their soul, what can you share some stories of like things that have happened, transformation that's happened for people, just so that we can really ground in that information into this space?
Oh, so many. I would say my favorite one was a client of mine, and she was a coach, and she wanted to do healing, but there was something that she kept in like not going all in. Like she did some healing trainings, but she'll never go all in. And in a session, we tap into an agreement that she made that in a past life where she was a healer, and she created the agreement, like, if I cannot, someone died, someone did not, she could not heal one person, and probably heal like 1,000 others, right? So but at that moment she created the agreement, if I cannot heal everyone, I'm not a healer, and created like this huge separation for her, right? So we did a Akashic download on the identity of the healer, on the really real meaning of being a healer, which is being a channel and not the ego that wants to heal everyone, because there is sometimes there is also the path that the person that the path that is meant to be walked by us at some times in our lives, right? So it was a very powerful Akashic download, that she downloaded the real identity of a healer that she developed in lifetimes to lifetimes before that, right? So, and she today has a beautiful healing center actually in Florida. It's a very, very beautiful story.
Wow, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's just amazing to think that we can have access to all of these things that are in our Akashic records and make them so real for ourselves. That's very, very powerful. And you also mentioned the Akashic records of our businesses. Can you tell us more about how you work with that?
Yes, yes. So being from business background, right? I love talk business, talk marketing. It's just so much fun. So as you know, from when you come from a particular space like that, you ask the questions that. So I started asking the questions and connecting to business through the Akashic Records. And the way that I see it is your Akashic Records or your client's Akashic Records is a house with 1,000 rooms. Each space that you enter, you can have access to the memories of the business, the memories of the relationships, or, you know, so it's, I connected to records through rooms, right? So when you access the room of your client's business, you have access to information about that business, where you tap into the business, but like you get advice and support from different areas of the business. So you can call in a business guide that will help you with marketing, a business guide that will help you with pricing, or a business guide that will help you about developing programs. And so it's kind of like an opportunity to co-create, you know, with the records of the business and the client. So it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like every person, you know, the guides that you connect with in the personal Akashic Records are different than the ones that you connect in the business Akashic Records, right? I have access to 12 Akashic business mentors, and in my personal, usually it's 2 or 3, right? So it's working with the energy and the essence of the business and how the business wanted to express itself. Mm-hmm. So you can go to a particular business Akashic Records, you can go to a particular program Akashic Records. Every time a new program comes in, I will work with the Akashic Records of the program to channel that program.
Wow, that's powerful. Now you're mentioning the business has its own Akashic Records, and even more specifically, a program will have its own Akashic Records. So when you say something like that, it makes me feel that, okay, this business has a certain maybe mission that it wants to accomplish, certain thing, energy it wants to put in the world. And so does this program. This program also has a certain mission it wants to accomplish, certain energy it wants to put forward into the world with people. Would you say that that's accurate?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, that's powerful. I wonder, it makes me think, like, if that's possible, that even those two things have its own Akashic Records, how specific we can go. There just must be layers and layers of information there that yes, we have the opportunity to ask about.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's powerful. My mind is just a little bit blown right now. I love that. Thank you so much. Wow. I'm just going to really think about how I could even ask even deeper and deeper about these things. When you're working with business owners like that, do you have any guidance for them around that, around this idea of you can ask about anything? And wow, do you have any particular guidance that you'd like to give business owners when they're working with their Akashic Records?
Yes, well, that is more like something that I would advise a business owner that, you know, wants support in the business. I will recommend hire a practitioner that knows how to do, you know, working with the Akashic Records of a business. Like, for example, I work in, we do like a VIP day together, so we can actually go in depth and go into all the aspects of the business, right? So it is something that is supports to have someone from outside to help you, that, you know, that exactly knows how to do it. Yeah. But when you're working with on your own, an advice for someone that is, I would say just explore, you know, if that is something that you already do, if you already work with your Akashic Records, just set the intention, like today when I'm going to my Akashic Records and when I'm going to tap into it, I am going to call the essence of my business. You know, I would say this is a whole advanced training that goes in, like, how will I get that in? Good advice. But I would say that just set the intention and notice what shows up for you, and then continue exploring. It's so much to be explored.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful. So Patricia, you do so much. You have your Akashic Records Institute. You help people on a personal level. You help people business level. You're an author. There's so many things going on. And I love that. You are a powerful example for all of us. But with all the work that you do, what are you most passionate about right now?
What I'm most passionate about right now is to help people with creation, to remember how powerful you are, that everything is possible, and developing the level of faith and purpose that it's available for all of us. That is what I'm most excited about.
Definitely. I could feel the power of that. I could feel your passion for that. Even when you said it, that there is so much faith and purpose available to us all. I love that. It's such a message of hope, of possibility. And I do believe you can find that in the Akashic Records.
Yes, yes.
Definitely. So thank you for bringing that into this space. I love it. So it looks like we're coming up to the end of our time together, but I know that you have brought with you a free gift for all of our listeners today. Can you tell us more about that?
Of course. So it happens to be happening right now. I have a free program. It's a 5-day experience, and it's called Intuition Evolution. So it's a program there. You have there is trainings, there is healing sessions, there is techniques that you learn throughout 5 days, and it's created in order to support you to listen to your body's message, clear beliefs, emotions that are hold you back, and sharpen your intuition. No matter how connected you are already or not to your intuition, is going to support you to go to the next level.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
I love that. Thank you. And of course, it's perfect timing, because with the Akashic Records, it's always perfect timing. So thank you so much for that. It's such a generous thing, a 5-day training. So that's beautiful. And Patricia, thank you so much for being here with us today. I've really enjoyed talking with you. I'm sure that our audience has really enjoyed this interview.
Thank you so much. Truly enjoyed too, and looking forward to continue being connected.
Wonderful, wonderful. And to all of our audience out there, we will provide the links to the free gift. And I really hope that you have found this talk to be fun, interesting, just, introducing so many new ideas about the Akashic Records and ways to interact with the Akashic Records. Thank you for being here, and come back again tomorrow, as we are going to continue to unbox even more about the Akashic Records. And I'll see you there. Bye-bye.